Boy oh boy, why you should 25 part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting this for a long time. A lot of people have been yelling at me that I need to get to the recommendations already, so let's do this. At 24, I told you why I think you should watch anime in general. At 25, part 1 that came out yesterday, I explained why, how to get in, not why, how to get into anime, what mindset you need to be at when you want to go in. And now it's time for actual recommendations. So I'm going to go through them. I narrowed down the list. I have 24 shows, if I counted correctly, to recommend, which is enough stuff for, I don't know, 6 months or so, depending on how fast you're going to watch them. And I have to say, I'm looking back at everything that I've ever watched, and the actual list of things that I've watched and I would like to recommend is probably triple this. But these are the essentials, I feel. And these are the ones that I definitely like the most. We're going to talk a little bit about some and a lot more about others. I'm going to try and keep this less than 10 minutes. I'm probably going to go for 40 minutes, so expect that. The entire list will be in the description, so just go on there if you've kind of missed or want the specific name. And that's it. I'm just going to talk for like 40 minutes. Fun times for me. Good. Number 1. The first one is sort of art and kind of... I call it art because that's how I feel about it, and it's called Cowboy Bebop. You might have heard about it. This is one of the biggest, most highly thought of anime ever. One of the best animes ever made. A lot of people put this number 1 on their list. It's pretty much number 1 on my list in most cases. I don't exactly have a top list, but this is very high up. I love Cowboy Bebop. It is 26 episodes, I believe, plus a movie, which you should watch in that order. The 26 episodes of the series and then the movie. It's such a wonderful series. It has an incredible storyline, amazing characters, and it's hard to describe it in any other way than simply art, because every single episode has this theme, has this music to it. There's also incredible music done. There was a cover band that specifically went and specifically created itself, was specifically created is what I'm trying to say, in order to make music just for Cowboy Bebop. They're called the Seatbelts, and they've released, I think it's 7 official soundtracks, 7 CDs full of music for this one anime, and that's incredible music, jazzy feel to it that I really like. And if you'll get really into Cowboy Bebop, and by the way, there are 1080p versions of everything, Super HD. It's very old, so there's 1080p for everything if you look hard enough. You gotta watch it. It's so good. Cowboy Bebop. Go watch it right now. Now, the second thing that we're going to talk about is kind of the general, I'd call it drama action type thing. There's a ton of them. I'm going to go through them quite fast. Some people love some of them and hate others, but they're all really good and have good stories. The thing about all of these is that they're pretty long. They're usually 2 full seasons, which means 24 plus 24, so about 50 episodes and stuff like that. It's a little bit more than just, shorter things, but it's very recommended. The first one of those that we've talked about a couple of times, Death Note, is one that a lot of people recommend new people. When you tell someone you should watch anime and they go, okay, what should I watch? It's Death Note in most cases. That's the anime, the gateway anime that people use in order to get other people into that. So Death Note is really good. It's really good up to a point where you say, damn, but you keep watching it because you're invested. Not going to spoil anything, but Death Note is definitely one you want to watch. Darker Than Black has a season, a couple of OVAs, and then season 2. Season 1 is wonderful. The OVAs are wonderful, and season 2 is not that amazing, but Darker Than Black is a really good. It's very good. Has really high production value, and a lot of things that it does very well. Though they are common tropes, one of the tropes is villain of the week, I'd say, but it does villain of the week and remains very interesting and not tacky. So Darker Than Black, really great show that I really like. OVA, by the way, I realize some people don't know what OVAs are. It's official video animation. It's like putting a couple of episodes that aren't in a season. A lot of anime have OVAs, and sometimes they mean nothing, sometimes they're just stupid, and sometimes they're an integral part of the story. In case of Darker Than Black, they are an integral part of the story. So it's Darker Than Black. Third one, Code Geass. Code Geass has 2 seasons. It is much loved series, 2 full seasons that kind of stand alone, but you have to watch the first one and then the second one to understand what the hell is happening. It's really good. if you liked Death Note, and it's not in any particular order, but let's say that if you liked Death Note, which is probably one of the first ones you'd like to watch, go watch Code Geass, because it feels very, very similar to that, and it's a really wonderful series. Code Geass. Geass. It's all in the description below. Second, third, fourth, whatever. Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist, 50 episodes of a wonderful series, has a little bit more of a teen vibe to it, in a way, at least at the start, and then it gets a little bit darker. It's really good, and I have to say that a lot of anime obviously come from manga. Manga is basically comics. They call it manga. We have comics and cartoons, they have manga and anime. So it comes from the manga, and the original Fullmetal Alchemist, which is just called Fullmetal Alchemist, actually deviated from the manga and did all kinds of things on its own. And eventually someone came up and said, well, we want an anime, a series that sticks to the manga very closely. And then they released Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. So there's Fullmetal Alchemist, which is a 50 episode series that's really, really good. Really good. And then there's, on its own, and there's Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is a completely different series. Starts off almost exactly the same as Fullmetal Alchemist, almost entirely identical for the first 10 episodes, and then you definitely see the deviations between the two. So I'd say pick whichever one, watch it, wait a year, and then watch the other one, so that not everything will be incredibly fresh in your mind. Or if you really love it, you can watch both of them. Attack on Titan, next one, is actually ended just a month ago, so everything up till now is kind of old. Attack on Titan just ended. It's really good. Ended on a very cliffhanger, so it's not finished yet. Everything that I've just said is pretty much done, unless Darker Than Black will have another season, but that's probably never going to happen. Attack on Titan might have will have another season, but it could take a year or two. It's a good series. I really enjoyed it. It's not up to the standards of everything that I've said so far, but it's a very good series, I believe. Black Lagoon, next one. Black Lagoon, and a couple of next ones I'm going to say, Black Lagoon and also Baccano, are really weird series. They have a very specific feel to them. They're very different from what I said up till now. I'd put Black Lagoon and Baccano, maybe even Attack on Titan, not as drama action, but more as action. They do have a story, and it's pretty interesting, but it's mostly really awesome action. And at least Black Lagoon is in Attack on Titan. Baccano does have more of a story to it that's very specific. And with Baccano, there's also Durarara. Ra-ra-ra. Durarara. There's 3 Ra's. Durarara is also a really nice one, if I remember correctly. And another one that I really liked and is very long, all of these, Black Lagoon, Baccano, and Durarara, are kind of short. Xam'd Lost Memories. That's how it's called. Xam'd Lost Memories. X-A-M''D, Lost Memories, is another really nice one that is, I guess you could compare it to Fullmetal Alchemist. If you've enjoyed any of the Fullmetal Alchemist and want something that's very similar to that, Xam'd Lost Memories is a really nice anime that I really enjoyed. So that's in the drama action. Most of these will probably speak to most people, so that's why I'm starting with them after Cowboy Bebop, which everybody should watch. And now let's get into, oh my god, 8 minutes. There's so much to talk about. Okay, need to know the culture. That's the apostrophe, need to know the culture. Remember that I talked about culture in the previous part, in part 1 of episode 25 of Why You Should. Need to know the culture means that you need to get a little bit of the sense of Japanese culture in order to watch these and not feel terrible, and not really get into it in the school kind of thing and kind of the way that the Japanese anime work. You gotta be familiarized a little bit with the culture and feel comfortable with it in order to watch these. But both of them are so high up on my list. I absolutely love the following next 2 series. The first one is Steins Gate, which is also considered one of the best animes ever. There's a lot of lists out there, and it's very, very highly ranked. Steins Gate tells an amazing story that I do not want to spoil. It starts off a little difficult, so the first 6 or 8 episodes might not interest everyone, but then it's just amazing, blows your mind. I really enjoy that series. It's so good. I am just watch Steins Gate. It tells such a wonderful story, and you need to watch it. Just watch it. Steins Gate has a really intricate story. I don't want to say anything more than that because it's so good, and I just don't want to spoil anything. The other anime is Angel Beats, which is actually very short and tells of incredibly sweet story. I totally cried, bowed my eyes out. Manly tears were shed at the end of Angel Beats. It's so good. It's just like I feel like a 15-year-old stupid schoolgirl when watching Angel Beats because it's a stupid little story that's just what the hell. You're flung into something that's really stupid and it just develops in such a wonderful manner. Angel Beats is one of my really favorite anime. So that's that. Now let's talk about some Ultraviolence, why don't we? Okay, Ultraviolence tells an amazing story and has crap tons of violence, usually a lot of nudity as well. So if you want, like, think about HBO. HBO has tits and beheadings, right? Talk about Game of Thrones. Tits and beheadings, right? That's pretty much a good title for that series. So if you want to do the same thing, but in anime, Ultraviolence is your thing. It's HBO times like 200 or so. First one on the list of Ultraviolence undoubtedly is Berserk. Berserk is 25 episodes of an anime. There's actually 3 movies right now also recapping the same content as the anime. You can watch either. I'd recommend watching the entire anime and then watching all the movies. They still tell the same story, but it's still really, really awesome. It's the start of the manga. The manga is huge, and the anime tells a very specific part of it. And that is I don't like reading manga. I don't love the format of comics and manga. I know, don't shoot me. I just don't love that. I don't feel comfortable with it as much. And Berserk is the only anime that I've ever watched that pretty much, oh my god, I have to read the manga because this is so good. That's how good Berserk is. Berserk is absolutely phenomenal. The story is amazing, and I love that show. Berserk is great. Go watch it if you like Ultraviolence. Another Ultraviolence title is called Elfen Lied. Not everybody connects to it because it has a crap ton of nudity. I actually think that the nudity has a very good reason to it. Some people, there's a thing called fan service. Fan service, that's how it's called, which is basically, over-sexualizing something. Big tits and cleavage or a panty shot and stuff like that. That's part of the culture. It's horrible. Most people dislike it, but enough people like it that it exists. And Elfen Lied has a lot of nudeness. It doesn't have any fan service. It's just had a lot of naked ladies. So people say that it's terrible and it makes Elfen Lied a bad anime. I think that it has a very specific, very correct place in that anime. There's a good reason. You have to watch it and try and understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil anything. I really liked Elfen Lied. And that's another Ultraviolence title. 2 more that I just want to mention. One is Hellsing. It's about vampires and it's crazy shit. You will love it if you like Ultraviolence. And another one is Claymore, which is sort of like Berserk because it tells a very specific story of the manga, but it never really got me to wanting to watch more. It's amazing. Claymore is awesome. There's so much. It's a really, really cool anime, but it's not amazing. It's just really cool. If you like Ultraviolence, you'll like it. Okay, now a completely different thing. We're going to talk about Self-Contained. That's why I call them traveling or self-contained anime. There's exactly 2, and both of them are absolutely phenomenal. Everything that I'm telling you is absolutely phenomenal. It's the top of the top. And the first one is called Kino no Tabi, or Kino's Journey. The translation of Kino no Tabi is Kino's Journey. It's an anime that's very different from everything else that I've just said because it doesn't exactly have an overarching story. Every episode stands on itself. And this is something that some people love and some people just get bored of because there's no overarching story. Every single episode has a very specific point and talks about an interesting subject. And these are really, really great and very interesting. And they're very intelligent and they make you think. They don't make you, wow, that's super cool, like action and drama. They make you think. And that's something that I really, really love. The first one is called Kino no Tabi, which tells about Kino and his journey around lands around the world and what happens to him. It's really, really great. Travels around with his talking motorcycle. Yeah. And the second one is called Mushishi, which is also like way up there as one of the best animes I've ever watched. Mushishi, every episode is self-contained completely. It's just it's 20-minute stories. And the best way I can describe Mushishi is after every episode, you feel so good And I'm not talking good in the sense I feel good. I mean the opposite of bad. Not that it has bad versus good, but you feel really plus, really positive, really good. And it's just this warm feeling in your heart that it's really hard to explain. Mushishi is just a wonderful series that every time I finish an episode, I'm like, but I want more. And then there's another episode. And at the last episode, it's like, I still want more. I want to have an episode every day of Mushishi. I wish there was a new episode of Mushishi every single day for the rest of my life, telling a self-contained story of something wonderful. Sadly, there isn't, but for whatever it is, you should watch it. So that's Mushishi. 15 minutes. Okay, I'm child below 20. Okay, intelligent. I just wrote tagline, intelligent. These are anime that basically have two people sitting around and talking. Just talking and talking and talking and talking about all kinds of subjects. And they're talking and talking and talking, and it's intelligent conversation that makes you so focused that you're not paying attention that the time is passing. It's a very intelligent conversation. This is not for everybody. Again, not for everybody. Try it if you like it, good. If you don't. It's called Spice and Wolf. Very intelligent conversation. There's 2 seasons, actually. It's just good. You just kind of watch it, and then you just, and you have things to talk about with other people because it's interesting, and it gets in your brain, and it's intelligent conversation about all kinds of subjects that it's really good. So it's called Spice and Wolf. That's the first one. The second one that you really, really need to have understanding of the culture, once again, but it's also very intelligent. It's basically conversation, but you have to know a little bit of the culture in order to really get it. It's called Bakamonogatary. Bakamonogatary, and the second season actually has a different name, but it's the second season of the same anime. It's called Nisomonogatari. It's written down in the description. Don't look at me like that. It's written down. Bakamonogatari and Nisomonogatari. And those are the intelligent ones. And then we have Slice of Life. Slice of Life, there's actually 3 that I'd recommend. We talked about Slice of Life. It's just a part of life. No supernatural elements. Everything that I've said so far has supernatural elements in it, because that's anime. Slice of Life doesn't, specifically. And the first one is Usagi Drop, Bunny Drop, that I've talked about in the Why You Should 24. I talked about Bunny Drop, so I'm not going to talk about it again. It's good, watch it. It's 11 episodes, by the way, not 13. The other Slice of Life that I really liked is called True Tears. It's very real. It has really... You feel bad for all the characters because it's kind of fucked up. I mean, it's kind of fucked up and you feel bad for all the characters, but it's like... You don't feel that cheated in any way. It's real. It's true. And it's a bummer in every single way. And it's just kind of makes you, crap, I want everyone to have a happy ending. And it's really good. It's called True Tears. And the last one is called Clannad. I put it kind of an asterisk because Clannad has its issues, has very specific issues to it. It also kind of need to know the culture, also for True Tears and also for Usagi Joss. Because they're Slice of Life, you kind of need to know the culture, so I put them at the end. But I definitely love this genre. And Clannad is kind of like the biggest example of how you cannot show any romance or anything about like boyfriend, girlfriend. That things don't exist. That thing does not exist. It's kind of amazing. It's mesmerizing. And I can't spoil it. There's a very specific part that I want to spoil and talk about, but I won't do it. That just because what the hell how did that happen? How did that happen? That's how you feel at that point. It's like, that makes no... what? That's how I feel. Maybe if you'll watch Clannad, you'll understand what I just did. That's how I felt about that part. And then it ends it's very real. It ends correctly. And then there was so much outcry about how it ended that the director actually put in another episode that ruins the entire series. I'll just say that. And I'll shut up. Clannad is the last one. 1930. I have 30 seconds. Okay. So that's pretty much everything. That's pretty much everything. I try to talk about everything. There's so much content here that you should watch. Pick out your genre. Go check it out. I recommend watching subbed. Get the highest quality you can. Go watch stuff. Stuff is awesome. Anime is great. Those are my recommendations for you. I have a million more. Once you finish all of this, talk to me again. I'll let you know. Just leave me a comment or something like that. And speaking about leaving me a comment, yeah. Anime is awesome. Anime, why it's like any other series, okay? You want to talk to people about these experiences. It's something you want to talk to people about. So if you actually watch any one of these at all, let me know. Put down a freaking comment on the YouTube video. Seriously. Let me know what you think after watching these. I honestly want to know, because it's interesting to me, because some of these are very specific or very controversial or very talk about something that's interesting, and I love conversation. So let me know what you think. Please let me know what you think about these when you get to watch them. I hope you'll enjoy. I hope this triad of episodes, 24, 25A, and 25B, or 25 Part 1 and Part 2, have been fun and useful and good. Go watch anime. Let me know what you think. My name is KOKOStern. I have a Twitter, so you can let me know there as well, and I have an email. Everything is in the description. Enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time and hopefully hear from you in the comments and stuff like that. See ya.